Hi Taurus, welcome to your new moon in Aries reading for March 21st, 2023. Happy spring. New moons bring in new cycles. You have the World card as your theme for the next 2 weeks. That's a yes answer, it says here. I don't really go by that, but I'll read it to you anyway. It says yes. The world is like a graduation. It's an accomplishment of some sort. And it is like a graduation. And you just have to go through the ceremony before you are finished. So there's little things that you kind of need to clear up before you move on to your next big cycle. This is also world events, by the way, and there are a lot at the moment, so we could be swept up in those. They could be affecting us very much. And it is also being in a bit of a protective spiritual box while you're finishing up this particular cycle. But it is a sort of a graduation, I would say. It's about success as well, and just things coming full circle. Okay, so new moons bring in new cycles. So you're just finishing up. I guess this is a time when you are finishing up one and starting one, maybe simultaneously. Okay, so what is starting a new cycle? Well, this is friendships. This is sharing. This is kindness. It's a very kind card. It is relationships of some sort, but this for me is a very platonic card. What could be happening, though, is a platonic situation could be moving into something a little more, something with a little more depth, or moving out of the platonic and into something a little more serious. That's also possible here. But it is a giving card. It's a sharing card. It's very kind. It's very sweet. It's also the past coming forward again, so it's kind of like my Mercury in retrograde card. People, places, situations that come back for another review. But it's sharing. It's kindness. It's very sweet. And that Ace of Cups is a outpouring of your heart. And that's why I said maybe it's very possible for some of us, or for some of you rather, that a platonic relationship, a sweet relationship, turns into something more. However, this is also inspiration, the Ace of Cups. So you could be inspired to help other people, inspired to share your emotional side of yourself, share kindness. It's not the Six of Pentacles, which would actually be sharing money and physical things, but it's more of a emotional sharing. You could be inspired with the Ace of Cups. You could also be releasing some emotional stuff that from the past. So the Ace of Cups can also mean that your cup is full and it needs to let go of some old emotional stuff so that you can replace it with some nice new emotional stuff. But I like it. It's a very spiritual card, the Ace of Cups, and it is also very inspirational. So you could have some creative, inspired energies coming in. I think children may be a big emotional situation in which you can respond to. Younger people. And finding and seeking peace. And that's what I mean by releasing some old emotional stuff so that you can find some inner peace. I think water is going to be important for you, and if you don't drink a lot of water, I think you should. That also helps to flush out emotional stuff. Water holds memory. How are you dealing with it? Yeah, see, you're the moon. So that means there are insecurities, and they can be coming things from the past that can cause these insecurities. And some fears that come up around this time. And The whole idea with the moon is to face your fears so that they no longer become fears. The dogs bark at the moon. There's nothing scary about the moon. So it's just something that we don't understand 100%. So the moon can bring kind of some weirdness into your life, some strangeness, you know. People act differently often when the moon is full or when there's a shift in the moon phases, usually the full moon. But I do think this is talking about maybe a complete phase. So this may be a 4-week phase for you or till the next full moon. But having said that, really for me, the moon is about your deep subconscious fears that come up. And again, I do have a feeling that this has something to do with the past and releasing it. The Hierophant. So this can be tradition, organizations, institutes, religion, politics, any kind of organized situation, big or small, that you're dealing with here. Now, like I said, because we have the World card here, this can be world events that are going or that are taking place now that can cause some fears to surface. But the Hierophant is also, for me, asking permission. It's red tape. And who doesn't fear that? Maybe a Taurus, but I dread it. The Hierophant is also, in this case for me, I'm going to say, because the two keys come forward for me, and I think you're going to find a key to a fear. And the solution, because the key unlocks it, right? So you get a full glimpse of what that fear is. Now, maybe you are talking to the coaches or psychiatrists or that kind of thing with the Hierophant card, and they may hold a key to this as well. Again, institutes, that sort of thing. 5 is about change, though. 5 is the roller coaster ride that pushes us to find 6, that pushes us to find balance in the situation. So I do feel like that's going to happen as well for you. And again, with the World card in there, you are in a bit of a protective spiritual box while all this happens, but it's definitely time for it, so that you can close this cycle out and start the new one on a better foot. The Hierophant is no for me. It's my no card. And I think that's because you have to get permission. You don't get the full answer with the Hierophant. You only get partial information, what they deem you are worthy of, right? And that can also create a response in you with the Moon card. The result, well, you have another 6, and that's good because that's what we're looking for here, balance. The 6 of Swords is moving on from an emotional, choppy emotional waters, right? And moving to calmer state of mind. But it's also taking those lessons you've learned with you. It's not just letting things go, right? The swords are in her boat, and so she's taking those lessons with her so that she keeps them, so she remembers them for good. You have the Star card with that, which is really nice. It's hope for the future, but I think it's more than that. I associate the Star card with Aquarius. Aquarius is information. So what did I say? Water holds memory. Water holds information. And the key to this somehow is water with you, because it's even the subconscious waters, right? Your deep subconscious waters coming out of the water. And so what information is available to the Hierophant, to the organizations, to these people who want to give you partial information? Really, the information is in the ether. All information is in the ether. And so what is available to these people who think that they own the information and dole out only what they can is not true. And that's why I think, first of all, water is going to be very important for you. You have cups on this side, you have water here, you have water here. The only place you don't have water, the only place that isn't moving is the Hierophant card. As you can tell, it's not my favorite card, but that's neither here nor there. That's just my perception. People, and especially Taurus, I think, are big on tradition. That's their whole gig. They are traditional. Their values are traditional. This can also be marriage. So these cards are emotion, and so it can be a marriage that may be having some fears or going through some subconscious changes. Drink plenty of water. Really, I can't emphasize that enough. Also, watch what's happening when you're in the shower or, yes, even sitting on the loo. Because information is seeking you with the star card. Now, the star card also means that the future looks very bright. So it seems to me like you get a handle on this moon card, and maybe with the help of the Hierophant, you know. But I think also you can't give them all the credit. You're doing the work. You're doing the work. So, but you could be taking like some really tried and true steps towards that. So maybe you're not seeing anybody, but let's say you are starting a meditation group with, let's say, Joe Dispenza, which is one of my favorite people, right? It's a tried and true theory or exercises that he does to get you out of your the habit of the fear, the emotional fear that you're going through. And there are particular meditations. It can be something like that as well, in which case I say yes, very much so. Because it kind of puts you in the driver's seat. You're doing the meditation, you're doing the work, and I think that's important. It's self-empowering. You're not giving your power to anybody else, but you are following a sort of tradition of how to do it. Okay, let's get some clarification. And earlier what I was going to say is maybe for some relationships, the children are growing and leaving the house, and that kind of leaves the house, the old empty nest situation, and we kind of feel a bit at a loss of where do I belong, because even here the child is also leaving. So that can be a scenario with somebody as well. And it's an emotional thing, and it's a rite of passage. It's definitely something that parents go through. So here you have the Eight of Wands. Things move quickly with the Eight of Wands, and there's a big focus here. So whatever you're focusing on, and that should be in this case releasing some old emotional baggage and opening yourself up for inspiration. But that Eight of Wands is saying what you focus on is where all that energy is going to go. Things are moving quickly, and there can be a lot of conversation with the Eight of Wands, really focused conversation. So maybe you have to talk things out, which makes perfect sense with the Hierophant. But it can be between people from the past, situations about the past, children, that sort of thing. But I like that Eight of Wands. 8 is a lot of energy put towards this, as long as it's in a good way, right? And I don't think the energy is going to the fears, it's going to the release of the fears and the release of the situation from the past. This really is a big cycle that you're moving through, I think. Nice. I like that there. The Chariot. That's self-confidence. It is taking control of the situation, and it's taking control of your mental situation. You're aligning your mental with your emotional, and being guided by the higher energy, your higher self. So everything is in alignment. You point your chariot and your thoughts in the direction that you want it to go, and you're off to the races. Okay? I like it a lot, the Chariot. It is related to, it's associated with Cancer. This is associated with Pisces. So I can see what your problem is, Taurus. There's a lot of emotional stuff around you, and you're earth. So earth and water make mud. And so we can feel kind of stuck in the mud a little bit. But I think your perspective, if you change it to, this is mud, I can build something from it, I can make something solid from it, then that can change the scenario. All right? But I like it. The Chariot's great. Self-control, self-empowerment through alignment. Okay, and then you have the Four of Swords. So towards the end of the 2 weeks, I have a feeling that you'll be in this sort of a planning stage. Now, this is not taking a lot of physical action. In fact, it's refraining from taking physical action. But mentally, there is a lot of planning going on. Also, this is my meditation card. So, like I said, if you are having some difficulty, check out Joe Dispenza. He's also on YouTube, but his books are fantastic and his meditations are fantastic. He's a definite winner for me. And it's science-based, it's logical, but it's practical, and you really do see the benefit from it. Something very tangible comes from it. So check that out if you feel like it. But the Four of Swords is in the planning stages. At the right moment, when you've had your rest, you pick up those swords and you take action again. You could be traveling with the Chariot card as well. There could be some travel on your horizon, and it can be places that you visited in the past, or to your childhood home, places that you feel very comfortable in. For me, it's got a very European energy, so maybe somewhere in Europe, possible, England, or anywhere in the EU. But it definitely may be Amsterdam with the X there. But it's places that bring back a lot of happiness, and maybe places that you visited as a child, or like I said, it could be your home when you were young, something like that. But it does definitely bring up some emotion with the Ace of Cups. I think you could use a rest, and I just think that this is part of what you need to do before you move on to the next big cycle. And we are finishing up a 30-year cycle. I think it's Pluto, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But we are finishing up a 30-year cycle and starting a new one. So there you go. What does Spirit want you to know? You have the Six of Pentacles. Well, we were talking about the Six of Pentacles here, and that is, again, that sharing card. In this case, you could be helping somebody out financially, or you yourself could use a little financial help, or you just are sort of middle of the road where your finances are concerned. Not too much, not too little. This is about looking where you are. It's a generous card, but it comes with the sort of a warning of who are you giving to and what are they doing with it. So are they being responsible with what you are helping them out with? Are you receiving something in kind, if nothing else than gratitude, or, I'll give you this, you can help me with that. It's that kind of thing. It's the balance of give and receive with the Six of Pentacles. This can also be medication, by the way, and minor illnesses. I don't really see that here, but even if it is a minor illness, can be a cold or a flu or an earache or something like that. But it's also the card of medication. And so this would be also a good time to check with your practitioner, your physician, to see if you are taking medications, if they're working well together, or it can even be that you're adding supplements and vitamins and minerals and that sort of thing. And this can really help, I think, your emotional life, because we really are talking about our emotional life here, what I see on a major scale. okay. I mean, it's kind of quiet, I think, and maybe you need a couple of quiet weeks. I don't know, but the future looks very good with the star card. Looks promising. It looks hopeful, and information that you seek will come to you. But it'll come after this phase here of digging through our past and revisiting it a little bit, and dealing with our fears. All right. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. I'll be back in 2 weeks with a full moon reading, and I do dailies. Thanks for listening. Take good care.